We're live.
Right? With candy?
All right, we're ready. Good evening. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This regular meeting of the Township Council is being held in accordance with the schedule of the meetings of the Township Council established and adopted by the Township Council, which schedule designated the time, date, and place of this meeting. Adequate public notice of this meeting has been provided pursuant to the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act. We are using electronic amplifying and recording device in order to attain a clear and audible record. We request all those wishing to speak be recognized and state your name and address directly into the microphone. The recording device will be still utilized by the Township Clerk's Office for the preparation of minutes and shall be the official record of the Township Council meetings. Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call, please?
Mr. Mignon?
Here.
Mrs. Albert Troxel? Here. Ms. Grace? Here. Mr. Nash?
Here.
Mrs. Walters? Here. Mrs. Winters? Here. Mr. Mercado?
Present.
Mr. Parliament?
Here.
Mr. Cordis?
Here.
Chief Harkins?
Here.
Mr. McGill?
We now have our first public portion. This is for agenda items only. Anyone wishing to address council, you have 3 minutes. There's 15 minutes total for the public portion. This is for agenda items only. There is a second public portion where anyone can speak about any topic matter in that second public portion. Seeing none, we'll close the first public portion. Bid report.
Public Works Facility Boiler Replacement Project.
Entertain a motion.
I'll make that motion.
There's a second. On the question, roll call, please.
Mr. Mignon?
Yes.
Mrs. Albert Troxel?
Yes.
Ms. Grace?
Yes.
Mr. Nash?
Yes.
Mrs. Walters?
Yes.
Mrs. Winters?
Yes.
Mr. Mercado?
Yes. Waive the reading and accept the minutes of the workshop, December 11, 2023, the regular meeting, December 11, 2023, and the December 27, 2023 meeting. I entertain a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
On the question, roll call, please.
Mr. Mignon?
Yes.
Mrs. Albert Troxel?
Yes.
Ms. Grace?
Yes.
Mr. Nash?
I abstained from December 11th and December 27th.
Mrs. Walters?
Yes.
Mrs. Winters?
Yes.
Mr. Mercado?
Yes to all. Now we have our ordinance, a second reading. This is ordinance 0-24-01. The ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriation limits and to establish a cap bank. This will allow the township to increase the calendar year 2024 budget to 3.5% over last year's appropriations. Mr. Carr, is there anything else you want to add?
The primary achievement of doing this is that it allows you to bank cap.
Yes.
Not be able to bank it.
We'll now open up the public hearing on this ordinance. Anyone wish to speak on this ordinance? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. I entertain a motion. Second. On the question, roll call, please.
Mr. Mignon?
Yes.
Mrs. Albright? Troxel?
Yes.
Ms. Grace?
Yes.
Mr. Nash?
Yes.
Mrs. Walters?
Yes.
Mrs. Winters?
Yes.
Mr. Mercado?
Yes. Next are items on the consent agenda. Any council member would like to have any of the items removed, please speak up. Hearing none, I entertain a motion to accept the consent agenda as presented. Is there a second? Thank you. On the question, roll call, please.
Mr. Mignon?
Yes.
Mrs. Albright Troxel?
Yes.
Ms. Grace?
Yes.
Mr. Nash?
Yes.
Mrs. Walters?
Yes.
Mrs. Winters?
Yes.
Mr. Mercado?
Yes. Next, we have our public portion. I'm sorry, we're EGOV. EGOV's the full public portion. It's not listed here. Okay. We have a few EGOV questions. Oh, before you speak, I have to read some. You can take a seat there. There's some another thing that we have to do. Okay. All right. First, from Ira Eckstein at 1 Cedar Creek Drive, Laurel Springs, New Jersey. On the budget revenue preparation worksheet for the 2023 budget, There is a revenue account listed as interest on investments in the amount of $161,614.18 for year 2022. In the 2019, the amount was $243,945.79. How much money is invested to result in these figures, and what is the form of the investment? The amount earned in the interest on investment revenue account is based on variable interest rates throughout the year. There's variable amounts throughout the year. There's no way to determine a specific amount invested. All the township accounts are held in interest-bearing checking accounts. Our next question is, bear with me. From Maurice Chandler at 1485 Kearsley Road, Sicklerville, New Jersey. Hello, I'm contacting you in regards to helping us here on Kearsley Road. Houses 1485, 1489, and 1493. Can we please get a snow plow when the township plows Kearsley Road? Somehow we get forgotten about. Thank you very much. So this is a subdivision that all the land for these properties, 1485, 1489, and 1493, is to be handled by the homeowners. There was a encroachment easement, they share a driveway encroachment easement, and they are responsible for that, I guess, private little road or lane that they're located on.
That's basically how that development was approved, and the memorializing resolution makes reference to that as being a private easement access for the homeowners.
Thank you. Our next is from Peter Heimball at Morningstar Court, Sicklerville, New Jersey. Please fully explain the process for GT to reverse tax appeals. Please fully explain the work that consultant Blau & Blau does to execute GT's reverse tax appeals. How are the apartment complex properties chosen for reverse tax appeal? Were the Gloucester outlet property parcels considered and analyzed for reverse tax appeal? The tax assessor, Mr. Grandino, was unable to contact the representatives from Blau & Blau to discuss responses to these questions. Response will be provided to Mr. Heimball at the next regularly scheduled council meeting. And our last EGOV is from Giselle Brown. I had asked the clerk for an address. There was no address. One thing I did notice that the email addresses are different. So we'll take this EGOV. I'll read it as is. Council, the changes you made regarding our ability to ask questions and voice our concerns without the tedious inconvenience of prior notification was awe-inspiring. Who needs transparency and advance notice anyway? Your spontaneous decision-making at the workshop meeting was nothing short of visionary. The fact that the topic was on the agenda and the people had no chance for input proves how dedicated you all are. Your ingenious idea of deducting time from the 5 minutes allotted to people during the public portion of the meeting for addressing their email concerns deserves a standing ovation. Truly, who wouldn't want to limit the time people have to express their concerns and engage with their local government? I want to express my gratitude for the meticulous attention to detail, removing our ability to have any input in the discussion. Your foresight in limiting the community's involvement in decisions that directly impact them is truly commendable. Your intentions are very clear to those who watch from home. Thank you, Mr. Mercado, for always looking out for us. Your leadership is an inspiration to all of us. I feel secure knowing you always put your feelings aside and do what is right. Gloucester Township citizen, that's signed. Anyone who could read that or hear that is dripping with sarcasm. But I want to address something. Again, talk about those EGOV emails that come in. So I'd asked the clerk's office to prepare for me back in December the number of e-govs that were received by the township up until December 11th of 2023. We received 61 e-gov emails from 29 different people. And of those 61 e-gov emails, there was 4 individuals that had 48% of the emails that were submitted to for e-gov. So that's roughly almost half, okay, of the 61s that were sent in, 61 e-govs. And they derived from 4 individuals. Those individuals, with the exception of one, because I don't think he longer resides in the township, attend our meetings on a weekly basis. There's an opportunity to ask those questions while we're here, and I think it will be a better use of our time. And if we're not able to answer those questions at the time that they're here, we can answer those questions at a subsequent meeting. But those questions, the intent of the e-gov was to provide access to people who could not make the meeting. For instance, tonight on a cold winter's night, they can't make the meeting. If they're watching us, they don't want to come out and drive, they could send an email by 12 o'clock and we'll respond to that. If they are here, then we'll use that time. We'll give them the option to read their e-gov. If they're here, we'll read it for them, or they can read it themselves. But that will count towards the public portion for the 30-minute second public portion. So I want to thank this Giselle Brown for their comments, or her comments, or his comments, I'm not sure. So now we'll open up the second public portion. This is for any item the public wishes to speak. Each speaker is entitled to 5 minutes. There's 30 minutes for the public portion. Ma'am, can I have your name and your address, please?
Hello, it's been a long time. I'm Bonita Morrison. I'm from La Cascada Homeowners Association. I'm not here for answers. I'm here to give you information and something to think about.
Okay.
Okay, we spent an incredible amount of money the past 2 years on our community. I don't know if anybody here is aware of what's happening over there. We have a full-on, basically a resurgence of community. We're rebuilding our entire community. I'm very proud of what was done. We've spent in excess of $1 million in the past 18 months paving our courts. And we're already on schedule with American Asphalt to spend another $300,000 for the remaining 3. Okay, we've spent untold funds on cameras, you know, this, that. We spent $70,000 last summer upgrading our playground. Why am I here? Because Via Cascada looks like duty. Okay, Via Cascada is the main road that goes through the complex. It hasn't been paved since the place was built. When I go back and I look at what the township spends on communities, they spend that $5-10 million a year, whatever. I see Cherrywood. I see this development. I see that development. I see this for La Cascada. We get nothing. All we're asking for is our road paved so that the rest of the beautiful paving that we spent all our money on looks just as good. When you drive through there, the potholes, the uneven paving, you can't even see the money we spent because all you're seeing is boom, boom, boom with your flat tire. So I'm here for a proposal. If you don't want to pave Via Cascada, give it back. We'll pave it. Like, I don't know the process to get a township road privatized, but I'm sure that with all the work we've done, it would be just another step for us to take to get the road and pave it. So that's my story. That's where we're at. I could stand here all night long and brag about what we've done to our community. I could brag about the things that, you know, you can see my shirt. Citizens Police Academy, okay? So a lot of us are in the class this year. We're doing everything we can to turn this place from the crap hole it was into the beautiful community that it has the potential to be. I'm here to ask for one simple street or pave it. It looks gorgeous out on Kelly Driver. It looks gorgeous out on Blackwood Clemson Road. Then you come in and you're like, What? Anyway, I don't want to bore you all. You got my message. Thank you very much.
Before you leave, can I ask you, well, I just wanted to comment.
Yes, sir.
We were all there during National Night Out.
Yes.
and We saw the vast improvements that you made, so thank you
Yes,
for
we
championing
worked
it. And
hard.
your friend has come with you to the meeting, so all of you guys for all the work that you've done there. That road, I don't know off the top of my head, and if that road is a road that's dedicated to the township, or is it the HOA's road?
No, it's the township's road.
Okay, and you're sure about that?
Yes.
Well,
Oh,
we'll
that
verify
wouldn't
it,
be
but-
standing here.
No, because I live in a development where my cul-de-sac is not dedicated to the township.
No,
And they made that very clear when they were plowing this weekend.
our
So-
parking lots are ours. That's why we plow our parking lots. We plow, we paid the million, okay? The main road, because there is, well, you'll hear about this in a couple of months. We're having trouble with our lake, okay? We're on a new lake project. That's gonna probably cost us another million. But while doing research for the lake to upgrade our lake and bring it back to life, it was made very clear to us that the main road belongs to the township.
Okay,
I'm not positive. but
let's double check.
I do recall, remember when we had the cave in?
Yeah.
Collapse, that was part of that road, I believe. So I don't think at the time it was our responsibility, what we did go in and make the repairs that were necessary, otherwise they would have lost the entire road.
Okay.
So that's my recollection, but we needed less math.
Mr. McGill, is that something Mr. McGill can look? Do you have a map on you, Matt? Just happen to have a map?
I would love it. I mean, if it was our responsibility, we're up for it.
I'd like to confirm for certain that the parkway is township.
Do what?
The parkway appears to be township on the tax maps.
The main
There is areas
road.
outside of that parking that I'd like to further clarify that most of the ours.
Okay.
And
All
I
right.
think it's how would that be, what budget part of it?
Oh, that's capital.
And it would be similar to like,
Miss Benini, can you come up here and give us your number?
I don't
please?
know. It would
Sure.
have to engineer.
I'm good. How are you?
The clerk will take it.
All right. Good. How are you?
Because I do believe that
contact number.
everything that you're saying, so what you're writing, but it is important to have curbside appeal. Because that's honestly for communities like that, that keeps that riffraff. They want, if it's messy, they'll come in and do things that you don't want, and you're there trying to make it better for the residents.
Oh, yeah.
And
What
that
we've done.
curbside, yes.
6 years for free,
Yes.
and the amount of work we got done. And our next project is, the children. Bringing, because it starts in childhood.
Absolutely, absolutely. We have a lot of children over there too, so.
Oh, yes.
There's the investment.
Thank you very much, Ms. Medina.
You're
Is
welcome.
there anyone else who'd like to speak? Mr. Sweet, followed by Ms. Smith.
Good evening, Council. Sam Sweet from Ariel. Orlando, a couple meetings back, you said you would forward the architect plans for the indoor facility for Ariel to Mr. DeVecchio.
Yes, we don't have them.
What do you mean we don't have them?
Scars, when that request was made, he said we don't have them. That's for Ariel's batting cage.
What happened was we went out for bid. on the
Okay,
back
yes,
cages,
but-
and we had a design for, at the time, for that bid. The low bid came in at 305,000. At that point, we stopped. There was some communication with members of the league about replacing the Ansel system in the building, which we are proceeding with now, which I believe is at a cost of approximately $42,000. I believe that right now we're looking at it in terms of relocating an indoor facility, a larger indoor facility that all the lakes would be able to use. That's not to say we're not gonna help out with what they have out there right now. But those plans are public plans, they were advertised.
I understand, but we don't have a copy of those public plans. Because apparently,
I can get you a copy of those.
all right, if you could,
Yeah, absolutely.
all right.
Are we talking about the plan that you decided to go out to bid, or?
The plan that we went out for bid, I don't have a plan yet for what we're talking about.
No, I understand that. The plan that went out for bid was,
You want the plan that went out for bid?
yes, those plans, if you could.
Right.
Okay. I'll shoot you an email, Mr. Curtis.
You may. Yeah.
All right. Didn't get here in time for the first public portion. With the boiler system, that's $605,000. Back in 21, we borrowed $300,000 for a boiler for Public Works. So does that mean we're going to borrow another 305 to make up for this, I guess, the shortage, or is it 605 that the company's bidding on, correct?
Yeah, my understanding is that we have adequate funds to do the project. I didn't bring an analysis of that with this meeting.
All right, so we don't know if that.
We're sending the bid report, we're not awarding them.
Well, it was a bid, yes, but we borrowed $300,000 back in 21 for the Public Works boiler.
I believe you're correct.
All right, we haven't used those funds, but we have never borrowed again for the other 305. So does that mean that 305 is gonna come up on this capital projects?
The 305 may be in this capital project, I don't know. Sam, without looking at it, I can't tell you.
Okay, all right, and then couple things, Mr. Mercado, with the respect to the EGOV questions.
Yeah.
I know I've sent in a couple EGOV questions.
You weren't in top four.
Okay, well, I know
I
I've
was pulling
sent,
for you, but you weren't.
I know I've sent some in and I've shown up because sometimes I'm not sure if I can make a meeting or not. So that's fine, but I know that I've expressed some concern with the EGOV questions. If I'm sending an EGOV question, like if I couldn't make this meeting and I wanted to send an EGOV question regarding the boiler, then that would have been read after you guys already voted on the boiler.
And I have the boiler, I stand correct. It is on there for award, so Christie will certify the availability of funds. We did not do the 24 capital budget, so we must have money available from prior year to fund that.
Okay, thank you.
Let me find out exactly where that's coming from.
So you
So I
like
know
us to
I was-
move ego up. Go ahead, keep going.
Well, I've expressed concern with if there's an EGOV question regarding something that's on the agenda, it's basically read after the agenda. And you had told me that you would look into looking at the EGOV questions as long as you got them in enough time and maybe move a portion of them up if they were on the agenda.
I don't recall that. I said maybe I would take a look into it. I looked at how EGOV is being utilized, to be frank with you, because I think that it's being abused. Not you, but there's some folks I believe are abusing what it was intended for. But no, that's something I can consider, that if something is related to something on the agenda, to possibly pull that out and inquire around the time period.
All right, and can I come back up again if there's?
Sure. Yeah.
All right, thank you. I'll come back up. I have another question.
Ms. Smith.
Hi, good evening, council.
Hello.
My name is Shaughnessy Smithman. I live in the SDK Millbridge Gardens apartment complex on Millbrook Court. Recently, there was it wasn't necessarily a blizzard, but there was snow recently, and I did notice that while walking on Kelly Driver Road, that the fire hydrants located on that road did not have an indicator with paint as to where to clear the snow or debris. Typically, within the SDK Millbridge Gardens apartment complex, there's painting on the ground that will indicate where the local fire department would prefer the snow to be removed. It's larger than you would think, I can only imagine, because of the way that the hose works from their truck. We had a bucket truck. Our truck had water in it at my local borough growing up. We didn't have fire hydrants. We just had a big truck full of water. They would show up. But with these fire hydrants, they do request that the snow is removed, but they're not painted as to indicate where. It's very helpful for someone who is going to remove the snow to see how much space they want cleared. Is it possible to get that painted around the local fire hydrants?
I'm gonna ask, the chief and also Mr. Cormier to weigh in, because Mr. Cormier is also a solicitor for some of our fire districts. Chief, is this something that the fire district within that area does? I know where I live, they're mapped out, big old yellow, big old arrow. Let's think about our neighborhoods here. Do you see, fire hydrants anywhere you live?
So I can explain. So going years back, I was a firefighter at Choose Landing Fire Company, and it was a Boy Scout project that was done prior to the technology that they have these days and the mapping and whatnot. And if it's what I'm talking about, it was like a big circle they would paint in the street, which would mark. And that was not intended for any snow removal or anything. That was to give a visual cue in the street for the firefighter to more easily find the fire hydrants. Typically during a snowstorm like this, the fire department checks the fire hydrants. This level of snow, they're not really concerned. They can get the hose over top and connect. So I don't think it's even anything that they require or need to do anymore. They know where they are. They know where the fire hydrants are. There's no regulation that says it has to be done. But the fire departments have them mapped through mapping programs even, so they know exactly where to find a hydrant should they need to in the fire.
Yeah, I think the chief was right on point. I don't hear that conversation recently coming up between the fire district meetings.
All right,
They
thank
used to
you.
have the conversations in the past when they did have Boy Scouts to go out.
You're using my time if you
Signs.
two are going to have a conversation. I have two other topics I would like to bring
Well,
up.
we're trying to address your question. But
Answer
please
the question.
continue.
It was a Boy Scout.
please
development.
continue.
The year 2024 is a leap year, am I correct?
Yes.
All right, I wanted to make announcements ahead of time for people that are unaware. The leap years are every 4 years. From what I understand, they occur during presidential elections and I think Summer Olympics is the year of the leap year, as a helpful reminder, when February has 29 days within the month. Also, as an inside journeyman wireman, I was informed that the outdoor lights that are sensor switched, they're light activated. When the sun goes down, the lights go on. If that switch is not properly placed within the fixture, the light will actually turn itself off. If it's supposed to turn on when the sun goes down, when the light itself turns on, it appears the sun came back out, and then the light just blinks at like 10-minute intervals all evening. I noticed that there are several of the outdoor lighting fixtures on Kelly Driver Road that are suffering from possibly this issue. But previously trying to call in different things as an area indicator, the telephone or the power poles are highly unreliable as to what their location is. Several of them have 2 different labels on them, and there's really no way to indicate which. They're now called power poles. So which one that I would be referring to try to call it in to the township to make them aware of the issue. How does this Gloucester Township want these power poles to be identified? So when I see this problem, I can call them in.
There are numbers on the poles.
No, there are, I just described to you that there are several labels on the poles. There is an older one, there's ones that they appear to be aged and they are in tin, and then there are newer ones that are placed on the same pole. Calling in for electrical issues, calling the actual Atlantic City Electric or PSE&G, they were unable to properly identify which poles I was speaking of. So which ones does Gloucester Township utilize? One day this could be important. It could be something more than just a simple light switch that needs to be tweaked.
I've often used the older one that's on the pole. to what I've called an event. There's a 5K race that runs there, and I use the pole, and I see that the marking on that pole every year when I put 5K race signs there, because that's a 2-mile mile marker right behind the shop right. So I would use that. If we have more time, we'll bring you back up. Is there anyone else who'd like to speak? Has not spoken yet. Mr. Sweet. No, Miss
Go
Dan.
ahead, take them first.
Now he has already spoken.
That's okay, take them again. I'm not ready yet.
No, we're,
I have to warm up because I ran all the way to Ann Mullen School
okay.
for a meeting, and then you have this meeting this week instead of having it next week, every the second and fourth week of the month. I don't understand that.
Good evening, Council. Sam Street from Ariel again.
Good evening.
According to the sunshine laws, that we're allowed to speak on anything that we deem important to us. I don't know the exact wording, but the sunshine law says that you can't limit the time you can limit based on getting everything done, but you can't limit what we actually speak about. And the reason I'm bringing this up is you're not limiting what I'm speaking about, but in the past, some people had some issues with school board and being attacked by members on council. And that was being shot down because we said it was a political forum. Well, according to the sunshine laws, you can't limit what we speak, as long as it's a concern to a resident.
Well, I guess, Sam, when you were out from May until you came back about a month or two, hey, you want to talk about anything, you can talk about anything. And, they brought some folks over here and they want to talk about it. But, the people on this dais too, they can talk about things as well. They're entitled to free speech as well. What was, I think, was I don't want to say gentleman's agreement, was that politics was not discussed here in council chambers. I'm not saying we're the Congress, but do you see political ads or people coming up talking about political things on the Congress or Senate floor? You don't. You don't see that in New Jersey legislature. You don't. And that's what we've always had here. If it was something political, if you want to come in here and complain about something that was put out on you, or I want to sit here and complain about all the things that are put out on me, no, that's not the business of government. We're here to run the government. That's a political thing. You want to have a conversation on the parking lot, we can do that. But if those people want to spend their time talking about something that was sent out about them, okay, sure. And we just said, fine, go ahead, knock yourselves out. So if they want to talk about it, they can. So that was discussed when you were out. I'm surprised you didn't know that.
Well, there were some things that were a little more important in the summer,
Yeah. I agree.
Sometimes some things are a little more important than that, and I might have missed a couple meetings here or there because, I was on a baseball field.
Yeah, absolutely. But yes, someone comes up here and they want to talk about it, that's fine. Now, is there going to be a back and forth? That's going to be up to members here. There doesn't have to be a response. That person wants to talk for 5 minutes about something that was put out on them, that's fine.
All right, I just
think that if that's how they want to use their time,
like I said,
let them use their time.
I was reading the sunshine laws and
Yes.
I know that was an issue a year ago or so. And just wanted to make sure that they could talk about whatever they wanted to talk about without being censured. That's it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else? Yes, Miss Dan. Happy New Year.
Nothing happy for me to talk about. Okay, first thing I have to say, since I haven't been here, my mother's very ill, so I apologize not coming here.
Sorry to hear that.
Oh, she's not gonna make it, but thank you. My first question is, when that new medical marijuana place went in, you had to have a license, am I right? The lawyers are here? Okay, now they turned it into a recreational and has to have a license. So did it get a license?
I'm not sure which one you're talking about.
This the one right up on the Friendlies. Did you get it licensed?
That's the one on Blackwood Clinton. Yeah, that's.
It got a license for
distribution
recreational too?
Yes, it's,
Oh, did it? When did it get a license?
I don't know when.
Okay.
State approves that, we don't.
No, it has to be, township approved too.
As long as it meets the zoning requirements, and that apparently did.
No, it was just put up about 3 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago, or maybe a month ago, maybe.
As long as they have.
Because I haven't remembered because I've been busy with my mother, but a big sign came up and you really couldn't read the words, but it said recreational, and then they put a big sign up recreational, because I guess it wasn't doing too much of business.
My understanding is that opened as a recreational facility.
No,
from
it
the
opened up
get-go.
as a medical marijuana.
That's not to my knowledge.
That's to
but-
my knowledge.
That's, I agree with you, Chief.
Well, actually, it opened up as medical, because I've been following it since the first day it opened. I drive into that development every day. So it opened up as medical marijuana. And the guy who owns it is the guy who owns the gym. And he was actually in federal prison for 30 years, so you should look at the person who owns it for something. And I'm not gonna.
So we don't handle that, that's handled by the state commission.
Right, but see, what they did was use a minority woman to have to run it. But see, they should look into the person that really owns it. Anyway, to make a long story short, number two, my question is, on the hookah lounges, which I just talked to at the Ann Mullen School, to the superintendent and to the Board of Health. You have hookah lounges, which you have 3 or 4 pipes in it into a hookah bowl. And I'm going to be getting on to the Board of Health about closing them down because you have airborne TB. You have all kinds of respiratory viruses that are bacterial and also viral. And we shouldn't be having that in this town right now. So that's another thing that you should be looking into. How do they have licenses to be able to smoke pot or whatever else in the hookah lounges and pass germs through smoking out of one bowl with pipes? Because that's a Board of Health situation. So we're going to be working on that now in this township to get them out of here. Third of all, I'm trying to get something with the mayor and the chief, if I ever get something right with something else done. That has been going on for 3 months now. And I called Sergeant Doherty today. I haven't gotten a response, but it's been 3 months now.
Yep, that's correct.
Correct, and I would like to get a response, because if not, on the next meeting, I will open up that I did almost 20 years work for the prosecutor's office for free. I did 9 years for Gloucester Township for free. And then I get humiliated by a sergeant on your department. Okay? So I'm like getting very disgusted right now for what I did for everybody. And I'm not asking to be made proud of, I'm humbling myself for what I did. And most people know me as a professor at college and everything else. So I'm kind of upset about the situation. Okay?
Good, ma'am.
Sure.
So as it's been explained to you many times by Deputy Chief Manazzi, Detective Sergeant Doherty, your complaint, I will not comment, it's an internal affairs
My
complaint. That the complaint that you made to us, what you're speaking of tonight.
Yes, but I made a complaint about a gun somebody shooting a
Okay,
gun
okay, and that was investigated, okay?
and a fake report came out.
Ma'am, you just made
I know, I'm
disparaging
trying to say-
remarks about my sergeant.
Right.
That complaint
No,
was
it's
taken,
true.
ma'am, do you want me to speak or do you
Go
want
ahead,
to speak?
Chief
Go
Harkins,
ahead.
I trained you too, so. go
No,
ahead.
you did not, I did
You
not
went
go.
to the police academy when I was there.
Ma'am, I didn't go to Camden County
Okay,
Police
well,
Academy.
go
I
ahead.
went to Gloucester County Police Academy.
Okay,
So the complaint you made about a sergeant was taken serious. It's been investigated by the Internal Affairs Unit, our professional standards unit. Because of the allegations that were made, and I won't comment, they are referred to the Special Prosecutions Unit of the Camden County Prosecutor's Office. That investigation has not been returned for an administrative investigation as per the Attorney General directives and our directives of internal affairs. So therefore, the case has not been resolved.
after 3 months.
Ma'am, I can't control the Camden
Okay,
County
well, then I'll
Prosecutor's
call the
Office.
prosecutor.
Feel free to call the first assistant, the Special Prosecutions Unit for an update.
Because what's
Because-
upsetting me is, after everything I've done and everything I said, he had a camera and a voice box on his uniform.
Ma'am, I'm not going to comment
I know.
on it. I'm not going to
Okay.
take any information. Your complaint is being investigated.
Okay,
Ms. Stanley, your time is up.
thanks. I can come up again if you have time, right?
We have 1 minute left. Does anyone else want
You
to
have
speak?
1 minute left. This meeting's done early today.
Yeah.
Can I have one other question real quick? Because
We
I got here
had, is
late.
there anyone else? We have 1 minute left. You got 1 minute in our public portion.
Since you got rid of the, G-Govs, because I heard that while I was driving.
No, we didn't get rid of ego.
Oh, I thought you did get rid of the E-Govs.
No.
Well, tonight you said you weren't gonna read any of them.
No, I read them all.
Oh, I was here late because I went to Ann Mullen because they said there was a school board meeting.
Yes.
But when I got there, it was over. So I flew here. But, why can't we, since everything's so short, I've never been to a township meeting, like I lived in Stratford, I lived in Haddon Township. Why is everything so short? Isn't there a grandfather law since you've canceled out different grandfather law about the township, about moving the marijuana places in here? Why can't you increase the times from 15 minutes to 30 minutes the first half? And maybe since we get out of here so quick, I mean, there's never a time where we just have enough time if people start coming when it gets nicer weather, that you can increase the times for people to talk. How many years have you had the 15 and the 30 minutes?
I think the 30-minute portion has been increased over the years. And in fact, today we had an ordinance which allows for a public hearing if someone wanted to speak on it and no one spoke on it, and that's unlimited time. So the public had today 4 shots of speaking, whether through an e-gov, through a public hearing, through the first public portion and the second public portion.
So.
This is, and if you've been in many towns, you said you've been in many towns,
Yeah.
where you lived and some of the places you identified, they have 1 public portion.
No, Stratford had a lot because I went to every Stratford meeting because I fought the
Okay.
adult bookstore system out there for almost 10 years.
At the school board meeting you went to, 1 public portion.
No, I'm not talking about the school board. I'm talking about the council meeting.
So we've set our rules of order for the year. It's 15 minutes first public portion, 30 minutes second public portion. There are e-gov questions that we can take on the public, and if there's a public hearing ordinance, that is unlimited time.
Okay.
So I want to thank you
I
for
didn't
your
know
time.
that. Thank you very much. I'll
Thank you.
start coming, so I'll know.
That concludes our public portion. Board of Directors.
Mr. Burlingame,
Nothing to report.
Mr. Cardis,
Just want to thank Public Works for dealing with that snowstorm. That was a very difficult storm, considering the temperatures and the ice situation that they dealt with. And compliment also the police department, because that was, again, very difficult period of time.
Mr. Harkins.
I will concur with Mr. Cardis. It was difficult. I know what Public Works did. These guys and girls were out there and they did a fantastic job, minimized the complaints and crash. So again, team effort, myself, the mayor, and Public Works supervisors, it was a great team effort. I was glad to be part of it, Mr. Cardis. Just want to add 2 things. So just a brief counsel. We had a pretty horrific crash involving a 17-year-old who was a resident of our town on Hickstown Road on Thursday, about 6:30 in the morning. The young woman attends Camden County Technical School. She's conscious and alert. The fact that she survived is pretty miraculous in my opinion. So I would ask everybody, I spoke with the young lady's mother today. She had another surgery today. She's had surgeries almost every day. She's got a lot of healing to do. Thankful that she doesn't remember the incident. It's probably a good thing. So she's got a long road ahead, and I, spoke that the township is really rallying in any support that we need. So I would ask, just keep her in your thoughts and prayers. She has a long road, and the mother's doing a great job trying to get her through this situation. So that I will say, we started our Citizens Police Academy. We had a great turnout, a good start of it. And I will just say this to the ladies who are in the back, Locascott, I will concur. In my 28 years of being a police officer here and foot patrol and being in Locascott, that community turnaround, as many of our other communities, Brittany Woods turnaround, has been phenomenal. And so I support them and I thank them because it is a community effort there. And I was right there with you at National Night Out. It made us all very happy to see that happening in our town. So just concur and appreciation that the men and women of the police department, you are our partners and we appreciate all that you're doing out there. You're doing a great job. Please keep it up. Thank you. Have a good night.
Mr. Miguel?
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Mignon?
I just want to say great job, Public Works and the Police Department. And then also, I'm sure Elaine's going to touch on this, but we started off on Monday with Martin Luther King Day of Service, which is absolutely fantastic to see all the residents and students coming out and day of on work as opposed to being off work. And who knows, maybe we can find a project that can help out Montescotta going forward next year. But I think it's a wonderful opportunity for the community to get together. It's a great day. I can't speak enough about it. So great job, Elaine, with that. And we have a great night. Be safe and a great week.
Mrs. Albright Troxel?
I too participated in the Martin Luther King Day at CW School. It was my second year doing it, and I totally felt the whole day. It was very inspirational, especially when I saw each one of those young people get up and receive an award. And it was more important was what the person that was presenting the award said about that young person. I never realized that being so young could do so much. Put me to shame at my age, but I have to tell you, I was just so proud of each and every one of them. They deserve all those awards that they received. It was nice to see the chief there with all the police officers, and it was a wonderful thing. Have a good
Ms. Grace?
Yes, I do. So I also participate in Martin Luther King Day, and I'm actually, as an African American woman, I'm very proud that because in the beginning it was just a day off. So to see it now as a day of service is honoring Dr. Martin Luther King in such a wonderful way, and it seems to be nationwide that we all get out and do something good. I did have an opportunity to work with Pastor Mike at Shades of Worship. He is a phenomenal person. He is doing magnificent things for the community. I'm hoping that La Cascada is partnering with him because he has given me a call and asked me about communities that could benefit from the services that he provides. So hopefully we connected with him. I want to thank you for your hard work in your community, because it's women like you and men like you that make a difference in the community, that change. You got to be in the trenches sometimes to make that difference. So please, 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 I always say this, don't give up. Keep working, because Township will continue to partner with you, work with you, the police department, the recreation department, council. All of us are here to support you in everything that you're doing in Montescotta. Thank you, Chief Parkins. And also I received phone calls from members of the community regarding snow removal and, you know, wondering when the truck was going to come around. And I knew that particular neighbor. I know them very well. They had left early before the snow removal got there. But I want to say this, that the supervisor of Public Works went out, followed up with my call that I made to him. I said, hey, did you hit this community? Because they are saying that their snow wasn't removed. 15 minutes later, he sent me pictures. Snow was gone. The community person was like, thank you so much, Council, you're awesome. That shows that our community works for, you know, our tax dollars are making the difference, and that Public Works and everyone is doing what they need to do to make sure our roads are clear. So they did a wonderful job. I got out pretty early after the snow and it was clear. So I thank everyone in Public Works for the wonderful job that they do so well. Everyone have a good night. It was cold, cold, cold. It seems to have warmed up today. So enjoy the week ahead. Thank you.
Mr. Nash?
Just want to say thanks for coming out tonight and have a good night.
Mrs. Walters?
Thank you, Mr. Crowder, for setting up MLK Day. This was my second year as well, in charge of a project, and there was a project for all ages. So next year, if you know anybody, have kids, adults, please have them join us. There's something for everyone to do. Thank you for Public Works and police for clearing our streets as well. Hope everybody has a safe.
Mrs. Winters?
I just want to thank Public Works and Police Department for everything that you guys do. It's always nice, and we can enjoy living in this town, those kind of services that we have. I was not able to attend MLK Day, as I'm usually not, because everybody takes off that day, so I just have trouble getting off that day. We're gonna be with their kids. We did go to the Choose Landing installation of the officers on Saturday evening, which was a very nice event. It's always nice to support our fire departments. Stay safe and enjoy yourself.
Mr. Morgado.
I want to thank all the residents for coming out this evening and thank Public Works for their work with our snow this past week. And then just thank everyone that attended Martin Luther King Day of service. We had just some numbers here. 564 people attended. 1,298 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches were made and delivered to Cathedral Kitchen in Camden, along with 800 bags of cookies that were baked and bagged with messages of hope. Over 100 cards were made for our military personnel to be sent to them overseas. 100 blessing bags filled with items for chemo patients, and then over 450 shoes were donated for Souls. Mr. Nash it was warm. You weren't outside. Okay, so, but those are some of the numbers that we had. The shirts that we received from Global Citizens is nonprofit and oversees MLK Day throughout the Lower Valley region. We provide these numbers to them in order to receive those shirts. So those 500 shirts that were donated to us, of course, those shirts are gone. So I want to thank everyone for coming out, my colleagues on council for supporting it. Next month, the second meeting in February 26th, we're celebrating Black History Month here. There will be nominations that I'll be on the Gloucester Township page. If you would like to nominate somebody who makes a difference in our community, they'll be recognized at the February 26th meeting, the second meeting in February. I entertain a motion to adjourn. Is there a second? All those in favor? Aye. Have a great evening, everyone.
You know I can't comment. And you know how it works with prosecutors. They have oversight of us. I cannot force them to hurry it up.